We have some more news from the NHL waiver wire and a few prospect signings as well. We'll jump into the latest coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, we have a few prospect signings and some more news from the NHL waiver wire. So for waivers, we have a couple of guys here on waivers today, and we want to talk about yesterday's waiver players as well. So yesterday saw 4 names. We saw goaltender Kenneth Appleby looking to be signed and brought in here from the island. He is on waivers along with Kyle Turris of the Oilers, Paul Byron of the Montreal Canadiens, of course Clark Bishop of the Ottawa Senators. So all 4 players have cleared. No claims were made. No huge surprises there. I thought maybe Bishop might be the one to get picked up. A hard-working bottom 6, 4th line type of center, but they've all cleared through the waiver wire, so they can all be reassigned here from their teams. And to some degree, I think some will be possibly traded, and this obviously gets them through the waiver wire ahead of time, which I mentioned before. Kind of make things a little bit easier for the acquiring team. Now, we do have a few new players on waivers today, and they're both members of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. They have centerman and forward Colton Seaver and defenseman Jusso Rikkola. So obviously, Rikkola is an interesting name, a younger defenseman. Obviously, I mentioned before earlier this year, I thought the Pens kind of felt he was expendable, but either himself or if they do any deals here, moving money out, I could see maybe Marcus Pettersson being the guy to go, just because of the cap and where they need to move. But the Penguins are certainly a team I do expect to be active ever since we've had new GM Ron Hextall and Brian Burke as president of hockey operations. There hasn't really been a whole lot of activity, so I would expect there to be some sort of changes and additions heading into the deadline for the playoffs. The Penguins are a team that's had a decent year, but they're certainly banged up. They've had more than their fair share of injuries, and they could certainly use some insurance back there. So losing some of these guys, would be a bit of a challenge, but obviously gives them more roster flexibility and some cap flexibility, which they so desperately need to be consider making some other trades. So we'll find out at noon Eastern time tomorrow if either of those guys are picked up. Now, on to the signings. Of course, we have one signing I already kind of alluded to here. Goaltender Ken Appleby gets his contract after clearing waivers. So obviously, he was already playing in the minors, so now he gets his 2-way entry-level contract. So no huge shock there. And the Winnipeg Jets have signed a pair of prospects as well. The Jets have signed Swedish defenseman Simon Lundmark, who's a right-shot defenseman from the 2019 draft. He was taken in the 2nd round, so he's officially under contract now with the Winnipeg Jets. And they've also signed a goaltender who was undrafted, played in the Kings organization for a few years between the ECHL and AHL, and had played, I think, one game in the Manitoba Moose for the Jets organization, so he was likely down on there on an AHL tryout or AHL only contract, and he now gets a regular 2-way NHL deal. And it's goaltender Cole Keller. So obviously nothing too huge there, but some more prospects getting NHL type contracts. So we'll see how it happens tomorrow on the waiver front. I imagine there'll be more players going through waivers here in the next few days as well, leading into the deadline. So let me know your thoughts if there's going to be any more claims or what you expect to see here. Stay tuned to Top Shelf Hockey. We'll keep you up to date with all the news around the NHL trade deadline and beyond. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And we'll catch you in the next video.